Pat Mayo Hour.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Hour UFC 206 DraftKings preview. Picks Cody Saftic from the Bookie Beatdown, which is now back in its full form.
Yeah, kind of. 2 cards this week. Obviously, a lot of it are running around between the two. But yeah, up in its entirety. There's like a couple portions out for the Albany card. But for the most part, business as usual, Pat.
All right, there's going to be a quickie this week, not a full breakdown show, because frankly, this card is not so inspiring. Although it's in our backyard. Are you going?
I don't think so, no. I don't think I'm going to. I thought about it in the end, and I don't really give a crap.
Just watch it at home.
Yeah, like Albany's on tonight. I'm going to watch that. UFC's on tomorrow. I've got plans regardless, so I think I'm going to watch the fights, don't get me wrong, but I mean, I'm always there, so taking one off, not a big deal.
Yeah, not a big deal at all. You can do some like personal things. Party and watch it.
Yeah, that's not my style. I don't like watching the fights and then having like people around making like lots of noise and trying to talk to you, being like, who do you think won that round? It's just like, oh, man.
So it's like me with football.
Yeah.
I prefer watching it basically by myself or like with one other person.
I remember one time I had to go to a bar and pick something up, and Phil Davis versus Anthony Johnson's going on. So it's Anthony Johnson's return to the UFC. He's taking on Phil Davis. They're scrapping it out. It's like the third round. I don't know it's the third round at the time, but I walk up. I'm like, oh, my God, I can't believe I'm missing fights. Like, this is killing me. So I go up, and there's just some like redneck guy sitting there watching it. And I'm like, what round is it? And he's just like, I don't know. And I was like, who's winning? He's like, I don't know. I was like, do you know what you're watching? He's just like, nah. All right, man.
All right, so no Albany, just 206 in terms of DraftKings. So let's hear your cash lineup.
Yeah, starting with the cash lineup. Once again, last week we talked about some of these value plays. You're going to have to take some value plays, some cheaper people. So we're starting on the cash gain team, and right off the bat, I'm going to go with Dustin Ortiz, $7,700. Yes, this is someone I had to talk myself into because stylistically, when you look at it on paper, Zach Makovsky is going to be, certainly he seems to be a better wrestler. He's wrestled at a higher level. In his fights, he's just a little sharper in the grappling exchanges. He's a little better all around jiu-jitsu. Marcelo Garcia, purple belt. Dustin Ortiz is a guy that gets taken down lots. I mean, pretty much in all of his fights, he's getting taken down a fair amount. His last fight against Formiga, taken down, controlled on the ground. Fight before that, Wilson Hayes, taken down, controlled on the ground. His 2 biggest wins, Scoggins and Borg, taken down 5 times in each of those fights. So he gets taken down a lot. So it's easy right away to be like, okay, Makovsky's going to take this guy and he's going to dominate him. I start looking at $7,700 and I think to myself, Dustin Ortiz is a very capable wrestler. On top of that, he's a very, very capable scrambler. If you do take him down, he will get back up. Now, you can just keep taking him down, and he keeps getting back up. And for some guys, that's frustrating. For some guys, not so much. With Zach Makovsky, you look at Zach Makovsky, and a lot of the times that he gets his takedown, his opponent's allowed to get back up right away. So even though on DraftKings, which is great, and on paper, it'll say he got the guy down 4 times, he didn't really get the guy down, being that he got them down for 2 seconds, the person gets back up. When he's at distance, he's not a very good striker. He will throw 1-2 punches. He is trying to keep his hands technical, but he's got a tiny little reach, and he doesn't like to use it a whole lot. He likes to wait on the shot, shoot in. That inactivity will get him hurt in some spots. And I think with Dustin Ortiz, a guy that's motivated, a lot faster, and a lot better of a striker, use the counter wrestling, keep the fight standing, chip away at this guy for the win. It's probably going to be by decision, but he is a big underdog, sizable underdog, and very cheap at $7,700. I'm going to make that play in Dustin Ortiz.
And you're going to take your man, Aubin Mercier?
Live Aubin Mercier. Under the new, this is very interesting, right? He fought a guy by the name of Tony Sims, right? And he won the fight 30-27. He won all 3 rounds, and he had hit Tony Sims, I think, 4 times, right? Which is, everyone's like, oh my God.
So he wasn't the best DraftKings player.
Yeah, but then you look at his average, and it's 73.4 points, right? And a lot of that is take the guy down, pass to side control, take his back, mount him, right? And then he gets back up. Take him back down, and just that grind and that rinse repeat, that's what he does, and that's able to score him points. When he's just holding you up against the cage, that's not going to score him anything. So I need him to complete those takedowns. Against Drew Dober, it will be difficult, but Drew Dober has traditionally had trouble in the takedown defense area. He's a very good striker. He comes from that American Muay Thai style, and coming off that last win over Jason Gonzalez, we can see what this guy can do when he lets his hands go. But traditionally, when you look at guys that have defeated him in the UFC, whether it be a Nick Hein, whether it be a Efren Escudero, whether it be some of these other grappling heavy fighters, they're just able to control him ever so slightly. He had a great fight with a guy named Scott Holtzman, former hockey player out of Nashville, in which Scott Holtzman likes to grind on guys. And Dober has to resort to grinding on him and is able to take him down in that 3rd round, close fight, edges it out, gets the win. When I think about Olivier Aubin Mercier, that takedown's not on the table. Grinding him out is not on the table. So you're going to have to go 15 with this guy, and you're going to have to just outpoint him standing, and that's a tough task. So I think Olivier gets the job done. Not super excited on his promise for getting the finish. Yes, he can finish. He's got a couple third-round finishes, so he just grinds on you to the point that he'll eventually choke you out. But Dober's a very tough game guy. I think Dober survives, but I think Olivier gets enough points to justify his $8,200 price tag.
And under the new DraftKings scoring, this is probably one of the first times we've seen him under the new DraftKings scoring, and obviously his points per fight have gone way up since they converted it all over.
Yeah, and even then, like I said, he's able to get third-round finishes, so he might not score you anything in the first round.
Third-round finish is still much better than going to decision.
Yes, exactly. So I think a lot of the time you're like, oh my God, he did not do anything. Oh, well, finally he ended him. It's like, oh, I got more points than I thought I was going to. Because, yeah, he still was able to finish the fight, and submission attempts and just trying to get on those chokes. He's going to be able to work you. Now, being that the fight's in Canada, being that he's from the local TriStar gym, being that he has so many training partners on the card and guys in the area, I think it to give him that little extra boost that he needs to get past Drew Dober.
Why isn't our guy Elias on this card?
Elias, I'm told he almost begged to be on the card, and they just told him no.
Why? Like,
They didn't care.
Has he lost yet?
He lost once.
Was that his last fight?
No, so he rebounded after that fight and beat Sam Alvey in Ottawa, and it was just such an embarrassing performance. Not embarrassing. There's two ways of saying embarrassing. Embarrassing as in if I'm Elias Theodorou, great performance. I barely got hit, and I just beat a guy who's ranked just outside the top 15. It's the same thing with Ryan Hall in that fight last week over Gray Maynard. Yeah, people are gonna boo, but you got hit 3 times in a fight against.
I heard
a
that was like
title
the
challenger.
worst fight ever.
Well, worst fight ever.
That's what people were saying.
Worst fight ever.
I didn't see it.
On the outside looking in. If you're a fan at home, you don't want to see that. But if you know Ryan Hall, it's the equivalent to throw. Let me ask you this, right? Is watching a no-hitter, is that fun? Is that entertaining?
Yeah, a no-hitter is fun.
But why?
But like a 2-hit, one-run game isn't super. Because a no-hitter is so hard to do.
Right.
And there's a very tangible thing that you can follow along. Like, oh my God, he hasn't given up a hit yet.
And that's the thing.
And then the tension builds to it.
But baseball fans understand that. So baseball fans can appreciate it. Fans that are not fans of baseball, they watch that and they think, wow, this is really boring. But I don't see it that way.
I feel like most people who aren't baseball fans feel that about any baseball game.
Yeah, fair. But why was George St. Pierre such a big star when he just took guys down and did absolutely nothing?
I don't know. Why was he?
It was pure domination. Now, people will say Ryan Hall did not dominate him. It's like, fair, but he got hit 3 times against a former title challenger. 3 times. So, at the end of the day, that's a promising victory. Olivier Aubé-Mercier is the same way. He can just have a super boring fight. It's okay. Elias Theodorou, to your question, is the same way, man. The guy is so unbelievably boring. Just awful. But hey, 185-pound John Fitch. Actually, John Fitch is at 185 now, so I don't mind him. I could see how other people would say, don't put him on this card. And he's not.
No, fair enough. All right, rest of the team.
Okay, rest of the team will rifle right through it. Misha Cherkinov, $8,100. Yes, this is a cash game, but we're going to take a little bit of risk here. I like Misha Cherkinov, local Toronto guy, trains at Extreme Couture Toronto, BJJ black belt, and that's the one thing he has that other guys in the division don't have. They might have black belts, but he's a high-level black belt.
So he's better than Krylov in that respect?
Well, Krylov's a submission guy as well. Krylov is 21-4, okay? So he has 25 pro fights. He has never been decision. He's finished 21 opponents. He himself has been finished 4 times. 3 of those 4 times, he got submitted. 3 of the 3 times he got submitted were all in the first round. If you do get him on his back, he's screwed. And that's what Misha does best. Misha's also a high-level, and I don't think he's a black belt necessarily, but he's got a long pedigree in judo, long pedigree in wrestling. He's able to get the fight to the ground. The thing with Krylov is, as I mentioned, 25 fights, you've never been to decision. So what's going to happen if the fight doesn't get out of the first, or does get out of the first round, or does get out of the second round? In fact, I've seen him one time in the third round, so Pelele. He basically just fell onto his face in the third round, and then the ref just stopped it. It was utterly embarrassing. So he has dropped down since, but.
So is there a play, like let's say we play this cash game, and let's say I put it in a GPP as well, because I do that, because there's nothing worse than seeing your cash team go off and you don't have it in a big GPP. So if I was to play this in a GPP, would I be better off playing both ways on this fight, since I know a decision is just unlikely either way?
Yeah, decision's very unlikely, and exactly it. I think if you look at the odds, it's minus 120 apiece. It's a 50-50 fight. Most people you talk to, they're thinking the exact same thing. Maybe Misha, maybe Krylov. But from just my understanding of talking to people, a lot of people are on Krylov for GPPs because of his ability to Misha doesn't just attack you, right? He just happens to get the finish more often than not. Krylov just completely attacks you. He goes after you, goes after you, goes after you, goes after you, goes after you. That's totally fine. Once he goes after Misha and he ends up getting taken down as a result, Misha will be able to take him out. So I think that Misha's going to be the less owned guy, despite them being the same price and the same value. And yes, if you're going to play multiple teams, it ain't bad to play different ones. Same thing with a guy named Jordan Mean versus Emil Meek. It's the same thing. You might like Mean, but you might as well take a couple plays on Meek, who's super cheap. And quite frankly, the way that guy fights, he might be able to land something. And if he does, you're going to have the team with him.
All right, so you're going with Max Holloway over Pettis here at $8,800.
Yeah.
Was there missed weight in this? I saw something on Twitter this morning.
Yeah, Anthony Pettis is a guy that is obviously not really comfortable at 145 pounds, so he moves down from 155 pounds where he's the former lightweight champion. So he loses his belt, he loses his next fight, he loses his next fight. Now it's a 3-fight losing streak. It's, what's happening to Anthony Pettis? So he goes down to 145. Now, Pat, it's very important to notice that the last time he made 155, his corner had to carry him off the scale. He was done. That's at 55. Now he comes down to 45, and the word is that he fought up in Vancouver. The word is that he had an atrocious weight cut, really bad. You can see
so bad.
You can
one
see
of the worst.
The first or second round in that fight, his body starts to shut down on him. He's just not operating at his normal standard abilities. Now you're putting him in a 5-round fight. So instead of having to go 3 rounds, it's 5 rounds. Back at 145. He missed weight at 148. They gave him an additional 3 hours, I believe, to make the weight. Didn't make the weight. So I'm under the understanding that if he wins the fight, he does not get the title. If Max Holloway wins the fight, Max Holloway gets the title.
He becomes the interim champ.
Max Holloway would become the interim champ.
I also say that
who can then go and fight the
not Connor.
Yeah, the interim, the vacant champ will now take on the interim champ, who will take on the full champ. It's just such a big joke, man. Big cash grab.
Tim Kennedy at 8,300. You like him over Gaslam?
Yeah, once again, this is a cash game play.
I bet this one, too. I bet Tim Kennedy.
Yeah, I was starting to get on Gaslam a little bit. People are telling me, oh, man, don't sleep on this guy. Oh, man, his punch output. But honestly, I watched tape on him, and I don't think he's very good. His hands are awful. He just throws stupid punches. That Johnny Hendricks fight, he just puts himself in the fire and gets hit a number of times. His wrestling's super herky-jerky. Honestly, I don't think he's all that good. I think he can beat a lot of lower level guys. And let me tell you, I don't want to disrespect him here. And that's obviously coming across as disrespectful. But he could probably hang with welterweights. I don't think he can hang with top-level middleweights. And Tim Kennedy may or may not still be a top-level middleweight. But now's the chance to see. I think in a cash game team, I think it's going to go the distance. But I think Tim Kennedy's a better striker. He's a better wrestler. He's got better cardio. He's a better grappler. He's more confident. He's better all around. So I would have to take him on a cash game.
And you're taking someone named Lando. That's a great name.
You know what his nickname is?
Calrissian.
He should have been, but he's Groovy Lando.
That's still pretty good.
Yeah. Groovy Lando's just, if you're going to play GPP, you got to have this guy. In fact,
it is a cash game.
Sorry, if you're going to play GPP, you're going to have the guy as well. But the reason why I like him on a GPP and a cash game, which I played him on both, is that just the way he goes for it. And with John McDessie, I do see the merit in John McDessie. I do see where John McDessie could win this fight. But Lando Venata is not someone that, if he loses against McDessie's not going to knock him out. If he loses, he'll get 3 rounds with lots of action. If he wins, he's going to either have lots of action or he'll finish McDessie. I think the upside onto him is very high. I think the downside onto him is fairly high as well. So I don't mind Lando. I think Dustin Ortiz is a good value play. Obe, Mercier, Misha, they're all value plays. Spending a little bit more money on Max Holloway and Lando causes you to not have the most money left over, but I think Lando's a good enough play that I'll take him.
All right, switching to your GPP team, you kept Lando and Ortiz on there, and you kept Misha on there, but you're going with Donald Cerrone.
Yeah, so the picks that are the same. Misha, as we talked about, he can get the finish. I think he's a good play. Averages over 100 points, so that's obviously good. Max Holloway, 5 rounds to deal with. Anthony Pettis is going to be a punching bag by the end. That's great. Dustin Ortiz, as we talked about, $7,700. If he springs the win here, and I can get finishes from other guys, I'm looking great. Where I'm going to differ, obviously Lando as well, the 2 parts that I'm going to differ is, one, $7,200, Emil Meek. Now, as I talked about the Jordan Mean situation,
he averages 0 fantasy points per fight.
That's because it's his UFC debut.
Oh.
There we go. The guy's 8-2-1. He's never been to decision as well. He finishes or he gets finished. Now,
who's he fighting?
He's taking on Jordan Mean. Now, Jordan Mean's from Canada, Lethbridge, Alberta. Great kid, young kid. So he starts fighting at 16, turns pro at 16. His dad, who's...
I feel like you probably shouldn't be turning pro to fight at 16. I feel like that would lead to head trauma. Like fighting men when you're 16?
Yeah, men. And his dad's a fighter as well, so that's his career trajectory, right? So between 16 and 25, he racks up about 50 pro fights, right? Fights all the time. And I mean, I think he's officially got 29 wins and 10 losses, and then you got to factor in all the fights that never got documented on the kid. He's got a lot of experience. But the problem is that after his last fight against Thiago Alves, he's winning the fight, he's looking good. He gets a little too confident, tries a forward roll, and then people are like, what, is he getting a little too confident? Boom, body kick. Hit with the body kick, goes down. Afterwards, he says, I'm retiring. Now, I hear a report that he had his appendix burst, and he had to get his appendix removed.
That's rough.
That turns out to be false. What turns out is that he just doesn't want to fight anymore. The guy's been fighting his entire life. He's been fighting for 10 years. He's got nearly 50 fights. He's burnt out. Then his girlfriend gets pregnant. Then she has a baby. Now this guy doesn't really want to go to a desk job now, does he? So he signs back with the UFC. Now he's back in the UFC. Now you got to think to yourself, where's his head at? And the only reason I would take Emil Meek, other than the fact that he's $7,200, Emil Meek's coming off a huge first-round knockout over Usman Pajarez. Of his 8 pro wins, he has knocked or submitted all of those people. But here's just the one thing. Jordan Mean's last 2 performances that I'm going to look at here is his fight against Matt Brown and his fight against Thiago Alves. His fight against Matt Brown, Pat, he's doing very good, very good. Matt Brown decides, fuck it, we got to do this. I got to turn the heat back on him. Matt Brown starts to go at him. Matt Brown breaks Jordan Mean and finishes him. It's like, oh, Jordan, you're doing so good. And, well, Matt turned on the fire and he couldn't handle it. Now you look at this fight, his follow-up performance against Thiago Alves. He's doing very good. He's landing all sorts of nasty stuff, right? All of a sudden, Thiago Alves is like, I got to go for it. Turns up the fire a little bit. Jordan Mean breaks again.
So what you're saying is this Meek guy isn't going to need to be told to turn on the heat. Oh, we're losing parts of the set.
That's Meek's doing.
That's Meek. Meek's just coming at you.
They call him Valhalla, right? He carries a giant battle axe around, and he normally
can't use that in the fight, though, can he?
No, he can't. And also, he normally has a giant Viking beard, and the Ontario Athletic Commission told him, you're not allowed to fight with a beard, so they've caused him to shave it.
Maybe he'll have lost his powers like Samson.
That's what I'm thinking could certainly be a possibility. But we'll have to see what happens.
I feel like the Pat Mayo Commission should make you shave your beard.
That's what would happen. I would not be able to fight in Ontario. One time I saw them try to tell Sokaju, who has dreadlocks, that he had to cut his hair. And he had to lie to them and tell them it was part of his religion. They're an awful, awful commission. Last but not least, we got Donald Cerrone, $9,300. He's a lot of money. This is a GPP. So, yes, Matt Brown is going to try to turn up the heat on Donald Cerrone. Donald Cerrone will go back to him. My biggest thing here is I noticed Donald Cerrone's got a nasty body kick of his own. People always talk about him being weak to the body and Brown being weak to the body. But Donald Cerrone works the body very well as well. And when I look at Matt Brown, this guy seems to get hit to the body a lot. Jordan Mean dropped him to the body. Eric Silva dropped him to the body. Jake Ellenberger dropped him to the body. Can you name any other fighter at the top of your head who's been dropped 3 times by body shots?
I cannot.
No. I watch a tremendous amount of fights, and I could hardly tell you a guy who's been dropped 3 separate times off body shots in his career, in his UFC career. That's Matt Brown. Maybe his body's not the strongest. I think with Donald Cerrone is going to put that heat up on him. He's bigger. He's a little more physical. And just Matt Brown's getting a little bit older. He's known as the Immortal. The guy's been around for a long time. But with 20 wins and 15 losses, it's no question that this guy's a journeyman. He is. Donald Cerrone is fighting his best fights of his career right now. And he's something like 31-7. So when you think about it, he has 15 wins, more than Matt Brown in his career, plus his Muay Thai career. So he's got 20 wins more than Matt Brown and still half of the amount of losses. He's just the better fighter, and the better fighter should prevail here. So I'm going to go Donald Cerrone.
Cody Saftic, check him out on the Bookie Beatdown with Paul Shaughnessy every single week on the Fight Network YouTube page. You can subscribe to the audio version on Podomatic or up on iTunes, right?
That's right.
Yeah, and that's the full version, too, not the chopped up version.
No, the full version. Listen, the chopped up version is not my idea.
At CJ Saftic on Twitter as well. Paul, on the other hand, while doing this with you, it's funny because we kind of go through a rotation during the year. Now that football is ending and I have to open up my calendar again to create some more shows, Paul's going to be back breaking down the contestants on The Bachelor.
So I walked by my computer before I came over here and I see The Bachelor is up on my computer. So I was like, Sarge, did you put this up on my computer? And he's like, no, man, Paul is here like checking up the castmates. So I was like, what's there to check up, man? They're all 10 out of 10s.
No, not according to Paul.
Right. That's what Sarge says. He's like, they're not all 10 out of 10s. He's like, one of them's got a horse face. So which one's got a horse face? He's like,
I know which one he's talking about.
He goes, check it. You'll see. So I come down. And I was like, this one? He's like, yeah, man. He goes, that girl's a 7. I was like, she's a 7 on a page with a bunch of other 10s. I was like, if you go see this girl in the Home Hardware right now, she's a 10. He's like, hardly. I was like, whatever.
Paul's got some hot takes.
I can't wait to hear
them. I'm waiting for his hot takes. So people might say, oh, Fantasy Bachelor, that's gay. No, it's not.
Paul's good, too.
Paul is excellent at his Bachelor breakdowns.
Excellent judge of character. The Mel Kiper of
Fantasy reality TV. It's Paul's real calling. So if you don't like Paul on Bookie Beatdown, you'll love him on The Bachelor Show. And if you love him on Bookie Beatdown, you'll love him even more after The Bachelor Show. So many hot takes. So many hot takes. You can follow me at ThePME on Twitter, and remember to subscribe to the Pat Mayo Hour on YouTube and iTunes and Audio Boom and Stitcher. All the places if you want video or audio versions up very quickly, all completely free. I'm Pat Mayo. Good luck this week. I'll see you next time.